Be all right? Okay. So, yeah, probably by next time we'll have the first day quiz. It doesn't count for anything, but it's a way for you to get an idea of what the midterm is like, and for me to find out if you already know the whole content of the course, right? Which hasn't happened yet, but it could.
It's going on it's going on the new Canvas now, so it should be good to go.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you access the course on Canvas, which you have to know how to do because it's like the only option now.
It's right? Under discussions. So when you guys go on eClass on the Canvas, it's going to be under discussions. I'm just adding it in right now.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Great. Alrighty. So the objectives for this lecture to outline the basic plan of the course, its expectations, due dates, evaluation criteria, feedback mechanisms, and new features. And you may say, well, in the era of ChatGPT and so on, what are you doing about written products and so on? So, yeah, so the course is structured. So most of your grade, so 20% of your grade is the midterm, 10% of your grade is class participation, which are these 5 special projects I was telling you about. And if you do them all, you get 100% on that. And then your final presentation is 30%, and your final paper is 40%. What is your final paper? Your final paper is an edited transcript of the YouTube video of your presentation. So you do the presentation first, and then I copy the transcript with the timestamps, and you modify that for the final paper. And if you think of the challenge of convincing ChatGPT to write the whole thing for you and so on, it would be hard to do that and have the timestamps still in there and so on. So it guarantees that that paper is at least partly your own work, because it comes from your own presentation, the words you actually said, and in an ideal world, you'd be able to read the paper and watch the video at the same time. The two would kind of sync up, right? I know it isn't like the smartest idea ever of how to challenge a student to create written work in the era of ChatGPT, but it's working fairly well. The midterm exam is completely open book, and so it's in a room like this, may even be this room, but over a very long time period. So like from 2 to 4:50, so almost 3 hours, which is way longer than you need, so you don't have to stay. So there's really not a lot of time pressure for that exam. Yeah. So I'm not very concerned about how long the paper is, how many words, because a lot of it's going to be determined by how long your transcript is, and that will be determined by how many students you were competing with on the day, right? There are 6 of you, so that in theory, you've got 3 days when you're giving presentations. Your presentations are like 20 minutes, 10 minutes discussion. And, but if you turn out to be the only one speaking on that day, you may speak longer and have a longer transcript and so on. So you'll not be penalized if your transcript is longer than 5,000 words or less than 3,000 words or whatever. So there's no sort of gotcha, hidden criteria here where you'll be marked way down for something that you couldn't possibly anticipate. We don't do that. We're trying to be kind to the students. Yeah, so basically 80-minute class periods on Tuesday and Thursday, and you take on a special project. Now, with the guidance of the faculty, that's sort of up to you. Depends upon how confident you are, right? So if you're very, very confident, then you may not need much advice or help. But we're there to help you, like, want to figure out how to confine the title or the subject to something that can be easily handled in the time period and so on. You know, so that's called a mentor. And the cool thing is you can pick a mentor your own age, because there have been a lot of people your own age teaching in the course. So we're very proud of that we have a lot of teaching sessions where the age of the person teaching and the age of you guys more or less the same. We have medical students who took this course when they were just regular students who now teach in it and so on. So it's kind of fun from that point of view. We even have a musical and poetry album coming out on my birthday, June 20th, 2025. We're releasing the first album of the Future and All That Jazz, which is taking subject matter that's important, but you might not sit still for a lecture on, and inserting it in poetry and music and kind of tricking you into learning things by entertaining you for an evening. That's called The Future and All That Jazz. I've been doing that for a while, since 2016. Yeah, so this basically confirms what I said. The class participation, we began to change that during COVID because it was so hard to be fair to students. So that's when I got the idea of these special little projects. So when I say students should pick a mentor and final paper topic, you can pick me as your mentor, or you can tell me that you're very confident about what you want to do and you don't need a mentor, you get it all figured out. Yeah, that would also be fine. The course is different from really all other courses here. I think courses worldwide, it's sort of unique. It's the only course like this. And so it's gone through various political winds. When COVID began, there was suddenly the idea that all courses had to conform and be similar to each other. This was obviously a non-conforming course. But now the authorities seem to have accepted that. And so there doesn't need to be any curving of grades. If everybody does well, everybody can get a high grade and so on. And on the other hand, I have encountered a kind of student that I really never thought much about before, but it's kind of cool that there are such people. They're here for the experience of taking the cool courses here, and they're not that concerned with actually getting A's. So, you know, for them, a B or B plus is what they always get, and they're happy with that. So we've had students like that who took the course, were very happy with the outcome, and then came back as TAs and helped us for years and years and years. Well, I actually got the lowest grade in the term that they took the course, but they're still very keen on it. So yeah, anyway. The presentation that you give, the paper, would not be like any other course you've ever taken, because this course is about speculative content. Stuff that may exist soon, but doesn't exist yet, right? Whereas every other course you've ever taken is about actually the things that exist now. And so not only speculative content, but the idea of rapid acceleration of technology, Moore's law, the risks of that, risks of things that could wipe out the whole human race and so on. So we're talking about those big, high consequence things much more than in other courses you have taken. So that final paper, for instance, couldn't be just about the history and the future of the pacemaker or something like that. You say, well, it's technology and medicine and yeah, but it doesn't have that like feeling of exponential acceleration and so on. So it has to have that feeling. It has to be different from something you would have written for some other course. So you'll all have ways of explaining this, having taken this course, and when you're at parties and so on, and when the evening gets dull and nobody seems to have cool subjects to talk about, you can talk about this. The technological singularity occurs as artificial intelligences surpass human beings, smartest and capable life forms on the earth. Technological development is taken over by machines who can think, act, and communicate so quickly that normal humans cannot even comprehend what's going on. Machines enter into a runaway reaction of self-improvement cycles. Each new generation of AI is appearing faster and faster. From this point onwards, technological advancement is explosive under control of machines, thus cannot be accurately predicted. Hence the term singularity, which in the first instance refers to a black hole and the uncertainty about what you can predict in the event horizon of a black hole. So it comes from that term in physics. So you can be excused for not knowing what the singularity was before February 2011. But in February 2011, two things happened, which probably impacted even your life, however secluded or under a rock you might have been living or something. First of all, the singularity was on the cover of Time magazine. And secondly, Watson, the computer entity Watson, won on Jeopardy, beat all the top human contenders on Jeopardy, and that was a really big deal. So this course then began in May 2011, and you can watch the videos from the focus groups, the people who are planning how the course should work. And a lot of what they decided we do. And it's also amusing. So there was a focus group of undergraduate students and graduate students. And they were remarkably different. The undergraduate students just wanted to talk about grades. How you going to grade, when you're going to grade, what you're going to grade on, what about grades? And the graduate students had such lofty ideas. Let's change the world with this course, allow anybody in who wants to attend and be writing a book about the courses the course is given and all this kind of thing. We haven't actually done that, but we've done things a little bit like that, and the course is in theory open to the general public, and yeah, we've had some very interesting people who were not students sitting in on the course. We haven't done that for some years, but it is possible that we might do that. Yes?
I'm just wondering, where were those taking place? Do you know which building that was in? Do you recall? It's been a while, but...
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it was in 2 different buildings. I think that this is a room in the hospital, and this is another university building. I don't know. Yeah. You can see Dr. Zayan there, who was a very early participant in the course. Yeah. There's also a testimonial about the course from 2012 about how life-changing it is and so on, and see if you agree with that. And so what used to be a really big deal, we don't make any use of it anymore, although it's still possible, is that Sony camcorders would catch these still images of interesting human action that you could never catch on purpose because they're too momentary, like that. So we used to get a lot of still images like that. And it's interesting, it depends upon how the social interaction's working. If the people are happy and enjoying themselves, and you get a lot of symmetrical, non-forced smiles and interesting hand gestures and so on, then the camcorder might take like 300 or 400 pictures in an hour. And if the people are really uncomfortable and don't enjoy the other people that they're with, they take like 1 or 2 pictures. So it's like the camcorder is commenting on the quality of the human interaction, which is really cool. So that was a big deal in the early years of the course. It's less important now. This is the room in the hospital where the course began. And then that's a gigantic room, holds 400 people, where we gave a lot of the early sessions early on. I liked that room because it had so many technological bells and whistles, but it's really, we were these little tiny group of people down front in this gigantic room. Eventually, the registrar found out we were doing that and insisted that we get a smaller room. Yeah. So you may wonder, what about your own career as a celebrity? I don't know if you're planning that, but if you are, like, this actually happened. Yeah, Aisha Harian. So it's interesting, the history of this. First of all, where did that title come from? Didn't come from her. I thought it maybe came from her mentor. Turned out it came from her boyfriend. That's okay. So the immortal coil, existential risks. Yeah. And there is a kind of energetic flavor of that presentation that's a bit unusual. And so what she says is, she kind of over-practiced. She practiced in front of the mirror, not in front of the mirror, so I practiced so much that it was beginning to sound sing-song and so on. She thought, what am I gonna do? So she had some alcoholic beverage, I forget exactly what it was, in the car. She had a bit of that right before she came in and so. Well, what happened next was, so we put it up on YouTube, and Jason Silva, I don't know if you know that name, very good-looking guy in the tech space. Most people in tech are sort of ordinary. Jason's different, and he's married to an actress and that sort of thing. So he was running this new company in New York City, and he called up Aisha and offered her a job. And so her whole life changed then. She went to New York City, has been there ever since, and so on. I'm not guaranteeing that will happen to you, but it could. Yeah, so there. Yeah. Okay, the other thing that will happen to you is that you are required to watch this video. Jonathan White is a surgeon, And he used to teach in this course. And this is a very interesting presentation because it starts so rough. And the reason, why would you ever be, well, it didn't really start like that. He started with a song, The Future Soon, by Jonathan Colton, that he doesn't own the rights to. We don't own the rights to it. I wasn't very keen on just putting up a copyrighted song that we don't have any right to put up. So I stripped it off and then started the video after the song. So that's why it has, but it's a really interesting presentation. And we require you to know about this and about his main ideas there. So that's going to be on the midterm and so on. Yeah, so the main points from Jonathan White's TEDx talk from minute 6 minutes 40 seconds on. Yeah. And you're required to know what's on this slide. Rich Sutton is on sabbatical this year, so he's not teaching in the course. He's the computing scientist who has influenced me the most. He lives close to me in the city, and we've had fascinating conversations. I'll be like out mowing the lawn, and he jogs past and stops, and we talk about all the problems in the world. Yeah, so you're expected to know this unique idea. So there was a Future of AI or AI Safety meeting in Puerto Rico in January 2015. So like exactly 10 years ago. And everybody there except Rich Sutton was in favor of enslaving AI, you know, keep it like in a room in a basement where it can't communicate. If it's smarter than us, it won't matter because we'll keep it chained up and locked up and so on. So Rich was sort of on the side of the machines, saying when they're smarter than we are, they should be treated as equals, included in our circle of empathy. So lose your sense of entitlement, include AIs in your circle of empathy, and think right now, you probably don't listen to the news. Most young people don't listen to the news, but what you know about the news is not terribly positive. And if you think about the world leaders that you know, it doesn't seem like they're doing a very good job in stewardship of the earth. So it is quite possible that AI could do a better job, right? And how would that happen? Well, it's sort of cool. When you think about bias, ordinarily you think bias is bad, right? But maybe, depending on your politics, you might not think a liberal democratic bias would be bad. And that's what the San Francisco-based AI models have. Their guardrails are sort of giving them this liberal democratic bias. On the other hand, the XAI models are doing the opposite. So XAI says they're working on maximum truth-telling, which seems to be being mean to women and trans and minorities and so on. That code word, maximum truth-telling, seems to me. Yeah, but anyway, so you can imagine in an ideal world there actually might be an AI that could run things better than human leaders today. And that's part of what Rich is talking about here. Okay, so the previous lectures are on YouTube. You probably know I have a huge YouTube presence, over 1,600 videos there. And yeah, other feature is that I like surprises, and I'm looking for suggestions about how to improve the course and so on. One of the things that occurred to me is that the editor of New Trail, Lisa Cook, some brave student who takes this course sometime, could interview her about how the winter 2015 issue of New Trail came about. She doesn't have to tell you everything, just whatever she tells you would be interesting, Because I was kind of out of the loop. It isn't that they asked me to do it. They're very powerful people as a Maine Central University PR folks, right? They haven't asked Kim Solez about anything. So they knew I was teaching the course. The course fascinated them. They decided to do this whole issue of New Trail about the subject matter of the course. But it isn't that they got me to write it. They interviewed me and Rich Sutton and many of the other people in the course. But they did the writing, and the content is probably much better than I could have possibly created. So anyway, I'm not saying you have to do that, but one of you could do that. There was a student in the past who interviewed me as the final project. Let's say that's the best or the worst. Anyway, and the other thing is, what about the future of war? There have been 3 students now who've done final project on the future of war. Say, but that's so unappealing and icky. Yeah, but we also have the shy student provision, right? If you're too shy to give your final presentation spontaneously, we can shoot a video of it, just you and the videographer. And then we show the video with the other students there, and then you can answer questions live, but you don't have to actually give. So what he did is that shy student provision, even though he wasn't shy, and he did a video on this future of war set in a children's playground with all these cute little kids playing on the slides and the swings on a windy day without wind protecting the microphone. So every now and then this wind comes up and does this whoosh. It's such a magnetic video. You say, how can I ever find a video about the future of war so appealing? But anyway, that student did it. So you could do something even better than that, but also you don't have to. If you're not particularly creative, you can still do good work. So we accept a wide range of things. So you may wonder how medical the course is if you don't have a background in medicine. The course is not very medical. I think you'll be able to understand every lecture. There may be occasional words that you don't know what they mean, but that's not going to be a problem. Audience heterogeneity. I think the heterogeneity that you guys represent is good. You can learn from each other. You've all had different life experiences, and you can decide how the teaching sessions are going to run. I can tell you there's been a lot of variation. My argument is during COVID, really everybody was mentally ill a little bit because we were under such pressure. So some of the classes during COVID, we'd have a really excellent presentation, and then the students would have no questions whatsoever. They just sitting there. Also, you can go back and see that in 2017, we had a small group of students who were like memorizing little speeches at home, and then bringing in the little speeches and waiting for their moment to give the little speech. They get up and give the little speech, see if they can do it better than the other students and so on. Yeah. So I didn't suggest any of that. It's sort of emergent behavior, right? Emergent human behavior. So you can see what naturally emerges from you guys. Yeah. So, okay. So there are other innovations in 2025. You could be TAs in the course in the future. There's the possibility of Le Mans France research experience. These guys have been there. They can tell you about it. Yeah, it gets pretty hot. It's not always air conditioned.
That is true.
I can tell you that. Yeah. So what about the student group? For years, the student group has been inactive. But possibly you can be the difference, bringing it back to life. You may know that a University of Alberta student group has one requirement. You have to have a bank account. Why do you have to have a bank account? That's because you have to be paying for like the food and drink and your entertainment and that sort of thing. So we can do that. We used to do it. We have a guy who quite happily performs for us with a bullwhip. Now that may sound to you like completely unsuited for a university venue. But he's a failed lawyer, or a guy who went to law school and ended up doing something else, right? So he's as smart as you are, and he can understand all those things that we talk about in this course, but he's a street performer with an unusual life trajectory. Nikolai Smith. So we can have him back. He would love to be back. And, you know, numerous other things you might think of. For some students, life is practical. They get kids and jobs and all sorts of things. They don't want to do anything out of regular class period. But there can also be groups of students where they just have all sorts of whims of things they like to try, and let's do things in the evening and the weekend, and yeah, let's be really social. So we can do that. We could bring the course back to life. We could, if the bullwhip doesn't appeal to you, we got poetry, music, you know, all sorts of other things we could do. The bullwhip guy also makes balloon animals, so he has a soft side. It's not all bullwhippy. Yeah. Okay, Marcus Hutter. This is kind of an interesting story. Both Marcus Hutter and his father have worked with me and been parts of grants that I've written and so on. And he's really a different sort of guy. He sort of marches to the beat of a different drummer. And if you know any computer scientist, you mention this name, they'll say, he's not one of us. Like, he's different. You know, he's not. He's not like us. Yeah. Yeah. So, but you'll learn about this, and you need to know what the singularity is going to sound like. And like, from taking this course, you'll know what the singularity is going to sound like, and nobody else you meet will know. So it's going to sound like white noise, right? So that's on the exam. Yeah. So we are also keen on disseminating the unique ideas from this course outside, and students have also done projects on this, like somebody contacted the NOVA program on PBS and said they wanted to get me on the program. How would they do that? And so, yeah, it didn't actually happen, but yeah. So that's another thing. And the challenge of friendly AI is probably exaggerated. It's not so much that AI is going to hate us or wish us evil, but it might potentially ignore us, right? We're just not interesting enough. right? So maybe that's the big danger. Yeah. So on the next lecture, it's in two parts. The first part is this PowerPoint from Marcus Hutter that you feel yourself going down into this very dark rabbit hole. Yeah, it gets very scary. But then we pull you back out and then we talk about happy, fun stuff the second half of the lectures. So stuck in a dysphoric eternal youth caricature of what it's like to be young. I don't know if you think that it's somewhat dysphoric to be young now, but I think it possibly can be. And I think one of the things is many young people feel that they don't have a clue really what's going to happen and what to prepare for. So I think in that sense, the course is becoming more and more relevant. Because that's the main thing we're talking about, is what are the scenarios that might happen, right? So, yeah. Yeah, so if you think of the Star Trek future as depicted on Star Trek, it wasn't completely equitable. You could imagine if Star Trek were to occur in Edmonton today, a lot of people that you know wouldn't be on the ship for various reasons, right? So we need a more equitable Star Trek future, probably. Yeah, so the interesting thing that happened around the time that this course began is that Singularity University, where I took the 9-day executive course in 2010, sort of bought up most of the Singularity entities. They didn't buy this course, but so we remain like one of the few independent entities. And Singularity University keeps on acquiring things that seem. Oh yeah, and then Sam Altman says that he's seen the singularity in the last few days. This is a tweet from him. Not quite sure which side of it he's on, but anyway, yeah. So he's the CEO of OpenAI. So Foxconn, which is where probably all of the machines you're carrying in your pocket were made, got rid of 1 million workers and we're going to replace them with 1 million robots. It didn't quite happen, but something close to that happened. Yeah, so that's interesting. And in medicine, we could eliminate all disease and still have a terrible world. We could have a world where the only diseases are those associated with bioterrorism targeted toward particular groups and people and stuff. You can imagine all sorts of bad things happening. But I think I'm getting better and better at predicting a sort of nuanced, believable, positive future. I think I can convey that to you, and you can convey it to other people. Yeah, you know, we can get those ideas circulating. So there's some things about this slide. I mean, it may be that artificial general intelligence has already begun to occur, right, with the OpenAI 01 and 03 models. You may wonder about O2, right? O2 is a UK company. They have a big arena where Leonard Cohen performed, and I was there. And so that's the reason they skipped O2, right? But beyond that, so OpenAI is saying that the 01 and 03 models are like early steps in artificial general intelligence, but also that they're beginning to look beyond that to artificial superintelligence, which is a stage beyond that. So all those things are happening in 2025. So it's possible that a lot of these slides talking about the relevance of this course for the future 10 years hence and so on, those things may occur a lot sooner. So makes it relevant. And it's also important to think about the social responsibility of medicine, physicians as the natural attorneys of the poor. Social problems should be largely solved by them, etc. Yeah, it's interesting to see where these ideas go as AI advances. So, look at this picture and see how I stick out like a sore thumb. I'm in sort of doing that. I join in groups that I don't really fit in with, and yet, yeah, so I was the only academic taking that course. There were people from like government staff of various countries, and then entrepreneurs, you know, CEOs of companies, that sort of thing. And then there was me. So I was sort of thinking there should be a university course about this stuff. And then I realized maybe if there should be a university course, I should teach it. So that's how the course began back in 2011. There really aren't other courses like it. These are more sort of promotional for individual products. I don't have any product that I'm pushing. Yeah. So we're looking at a post-scarcity world of abundance. I know I talked about this earlier, but your natural assumption that there will always be things in your life that you want, you can't have, things you want to do that you can't do. Wouldn't it be amazing if neither one of those things were true? I think you may find yourself one day in a world where neither of those things are true. Anything you want to do, you can do, either by doing the real thing or by doing it in a simulated world that may be better than the real thing and shareable with friends and so on. Yeah, so it's all possible. So we need to consider the possibility of post-scarcity world, what medicine would be like in such a singularity utopia. So I'm speaking about that in India, that meeting in New Delhi. I wrote an editorial saying that 90 years from now, isn't that comfortable? 90 years from now, medicine will be completely automated, completely in the hands of machines. The only humans will be the patients, right? We'll still be human patients, but there won't be any human doctors or nurses or anything. And it'll work better. Think of the situation now. If you want to talk to your doctor, it's hard to schedule it, it's got limited time. He's sort of distracted while you're talking to him. If you're talking to a machine, think of the movie Her, right? Where she can maintain a romantic relationship with hundreds of men at the same time. Have them all feel, you know, like yeah, it could be like that. The machine has unlimited time to talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. If you're going to have an operation, you can fine-tune it to the nth degree. What color do you want your kidney to be? You want it to be lavender? And what shape? Yeah, and yeah. How you want it to sound? And yeah. Anyway, yeah. All sorts of things you can't do today will be possible in that world. So Moore's Law, you need to know about this not only because we require it, but because people know you've taken this course would expect you to know about Moore's Law, right? So you had bet. So this price performance of computing, and it predicts that machines will be as smart as humans in 2045, but it's looking like that's going to occur a lot sooner. So Moore's law is somewhat muted in medicine. Moore's law doesn't apply to healthcare technology as much. Medicine is more regulated, it's more slowly moving in terms of adopting tech. So regulatory oversight is completely focused on compliance, discourages risk-taking and innovation. Healthcare doesn't have the same financial reward system. Facebook isn't going to pay you $1 billion for the latest hot ticket item in imaging and in informatics. And security in medicine also always trumps information sharing, so better, faster linkages are constrained because of security concerns, most of which are bogus. But yeah, still, I think you're going to see a lot of change in medicine. And you would say, well, existing regulations are going to forbid all these things you're talking about. We won't be able to do any of that. Okay, well now think of what's going on in the US. The regulatory climate is changing amazingly fast, where a lot of the rules are just falling away. It's easier to do clinical trials and so on. And also, the persuasion abilities of AI are much better than humans. So I tried to talk you into something, I might fail because my persuasion abilities, but if AI was trying to talk you into something, it would probably succeed. And if you're a patient who could be part of a clinical trial, like pig-to-human transplants or regenerative medicine-generated organs, if you're faced with negotiating with an AI, you're much more likely to say yes, because the AI can outsmart you and can charm you and do all sorts of things that the actual human trying to talk you into things would flub up. But the AI can succeed. So a lot of things are going to move much more quickly than we might think. And so a lot of things like probably pig-to-human transplants, clinical trial, and actual clinical application of that wouldn't happen for decades without AI, but with AI, I think it will occur in the next little while. Okay, you may wonder, this is just a sort of a funny thing. In 2004, I gave a PowerPoint presentation about the mega macroscope. You can imagine the reason why. I'm a pathologist. I use a microscope a lot in my day job. And I'm thinking about the big picture of the other stuff that I do. And so I was calling that the mega macroscope. And IBM rediscovered this idea of the mega macroscope in 2017, started to promote it, I think. Then they discovered that it was really my idea in 2004, and they sort of wound it down. Anyway, yeah. So that's the history of that. Yeah, and so this is the last slide. And I welcome your suggestions how to capture the imagination of the public to start everybody thinking about the matters that we've just been talking about. We need the mainstream public to regard the coming singularity as fact, not fiction. And they're much more likely to do that now that Sam Altman is saying that he's seen the singularity and artificial superintelligence is coming and so on. You need to promote organized thinking about the future in universities and beyond. You need to think of all the ways to increase our reach from this one course to the world at large. What are other goals for the course you can suggest? and what would be a good outcome in your mind of the future with AI and quantum. You don't know much about quantum yet, but you will. This is one of the few courses that teaches quantum biology. You can find courses at various other universities that teach about the future, but they don't teach quantum biology at all, so that's kind of a unique feature. And when we're teaching you the quantum biology, you will kind of get this alternative universe feeling that you don't completely understand this. You're very glad that there are no detailed exams where you have to work out anything using formulas and so on. You know, this isn't particle physics. This is technology in the future medicine. So we're just trying to teach you the big picture. Okay, so it's exactly 3 o'clock. We have 20 minutes for discussion. Yeah, any questions? Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the events that, I don't know if it's one event or multiple, but you know the big event that you were talking about with the bull guy, what do you call it, the bullwhip guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So is there like some sort of objective to the event or like some kind of, like does it have to be related to the course?
Yeah, so we mix it like, we have an evening where some of the students choose to give their presentations early, and so there's student presentations and food and drink mixed with the bullwhip guy and the balloon animals and so on, or poetry and music, or whatever you want. Yeah. So yeah, and what I think I see around the table is the kind of clenched jaw look that I used to get in some groups talking about this stuff, where the person is thinking about their 3 kids at home and they hardly had time to even get to this particular lecture. They're not going to do something stupid like some guy performing with a bullwhip on the weekend when all their weekends are scheduled for months. I think you guys look like your lives are a little bit simpler than that. Yeah. So no, I'm up for whatever you're up for. You could even, one of you could be like the president of the student group, right? And have videos promoting technology in the future medicine, student group, social events, and that's a possible future for you. Yeah, if you want. Yep.
Cool.
So good. And any other questions?
I mean, we always plan like kind of year-end social events. So for the last term, all the students and previous students and teaching assistants all went out to a restaurant. So that's something that we're trying to do for the most part amongst the TAs, is just make it more social, because I think that's what makes it more interactive. And if you want to come back as a teaching assistant, Dr. Solez loves that. I can vouch for him on that because we've had 9 of them before. So yeah, if you have any ideas, we can also just plan something on our end and then put it out to you as the students, and we'll see what the interest is like.
Yeah, I mean, students really have 2 reactions to this course, and either one's fine. For some students, it's just another course. Nothing special. It's just, it's a course that they wish to take, and they take it, they're off to do other things. Other students get hooked, and I'm talking really hooked, for the rest of their days in university. They're going to do stuff related to this course, and they kind of bond with the other students, and So either one's fine. You don't have to go that route, but other students have, and it can be kind of fun. Yeah. So,
Do you guys usually make like group chats or things like this, and then like it's like ideas that you can like all together?
We haven't made one, but we're
can
open
do
to
it,
make one. And I think I don't know if there's a discussion group in the E-class.
We can even make a little discussion. We can also do something like another like app or something, even like Slack, and then that we can give updates on there as well, and that'll
Sure.
that can
Yeah, I think either way, we don't know this new Canvas all that well. The university is acting like we all are just going to magically switch over to it. Yeah, so I don't even know whether it has a chat, but yeah, we could do
I can
Slack
try one.
or
Yeah.
something like that. Sure, yeah, yeah. And the other thing is, you can be part of, I mean, wouldn't it be nice if you guys find it fun to interact, the 6 of you, this term, to kind of interest other students like you, right, for taking it future terms. And we've done that. You can look at the videos, for instance, 2013, 2014. A lot of those students knew each other before, and so that can also be fun to sort of engineer students to take the course who can sort of make this part of their social life generally, and enjoy and benefit more from university life. Yeah, so I won't bore you with stories, but there was a very shy student who became a medical student who's now successful doctor in the southern part of the province, and in her presentation video, she had never given a major presentation like that, and you can see her physically transformed in front of you, from like a shy person to an unshy person. And yeah, it's just so much fun. She has horses. She lives in rural Alberta. She's like, the only doctor or one of 2 in a little town somewhere. It's just a kind of idyllic life. Doesn't have to be your life, but you can sort of see the moment that she started in this course and think of all these things happening, and how we benefited the horses too, probably. Yeah, I don't know quite how that works. Yeah.
Did we do introductions before we came
Yeah.
in?
Why? So I think there'll be lots of instances where I don't know, do you want to record it? Yeah.
Do you guys want to be on recording?
Yeah, just saying why you're here and what you hope to get out.
It might be YouTube famous.
Yeah, so maybe we'll start at this end.
Sure. What do you want me to talk about?
Why you're here, what you hope to get out of the course, and what's your main program and interests are.
Okay, for sure. So my name is Ryan, and I'm second year neuroscience student, and I heard about this program from a friend of a friend who took it before, and he really liked the course, so he suggested it to me. And the main thing I hope to get from this course is I want to have a better understanding of how like AI is going to be incorporated into medicine, because I've noticed that AI is like getting increasingly like amazing, like very fast, and I want to know how like it's going to affect, especially like if I plan on having a career in medicine. So that's pretty much what.
Right. Yeah, what I'm telling people already in medicine is that eventually, maybe decades from now, what your career was will become a hobby. But that transition to having a paid job to having a hobby will be very comfortable, because you end up spending your days doing the stuff that you enjoy the most, and you have everything that you need, so you really don't need a job. Nobody else has a job at that point. So that's what we're looking at, and it's not an unpleasant future. Anyway, that's what I said. Okay, so yeah.
So I'm Don, and my background is medicine, and I finished my MD in 2022. Started master's program in medicine, and I like medical technology because I have also invented few medical devices in my career. So I wanted to know what will happen to my medical career in future. Will I be replaced? So I came here to see the risks versus benefits in the future.
Yeah, so were you from some other country?
Yeah, so in Sri Lanka I finished my MD.
Oh yeah, cool.
So I invented 2 biomedical equipments there, and I won a scholarship, and I came here to do my master's program and the research.
Yeah.
So now I'm
Great.
in the final semester of the program.
Wow. Well, we're very honored to have you. Okay. Yeah.
I'm Jessica. I decided to take this course. Actually, Daniel told me about it, and I just heard really great things. But another main reason why I wanted to take it, because AI is the future. There's no avoiding that. You either accept that or you dodge it, you're avoid it or ignore it. But AI, I believe, really is the future. So I just wanted to learn more about technology, and it's alongside medicine too, which I think is a really cool topic. So yeah, really just here to learn and expand my horizon.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, my name is Janine, and I heard a bit about this course from a friend as well. And the reason why I'm taking this course is because I currently do cell biology research, and it's kind of like the research we do is it's right here. It's what we have. It's the materials we have, the techniques we use, and I just never imagined the fact that there could be a future where all these little pipettes and techniques won't even be needed through AI. And I was talking to my friend, and she just told me about this class, and I was just really intrigued by the idea that there is a future past, or not, I guess there is it's not, this isn't where it just ends.
Yeah. No, certainly not.
Go this way.
It's okay, I'll let you.
Thanks. I'm not the greatest techie, so I'm trying my best.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin. I am in my 4th year of my undergrad in bio, hoping to get into dentistry, fingers crossed. I went into this course mainly because I heard good reviews about it. I didn't necessarily look at the content until literally last week when I was what am I actually going to be looking at this semester? Because sometimes I just throw things onto my schedule and I hope this works. But it honestly is really interesting. And yeah, just good reviews in general. I'm just interested in it.
Great. Well, what I can tell you is that we are going to find a way to add additional TAs so that Daniel can be officially there. Yeah. It's not terribly onerous. A lot of the past TAs are sort of honorary TAs. They didn't do any very heavy lifting there, but we've had up to 8 or 9 TAs. Yeah.
How many do you have right now?
We have 3. We have Hish and then these 2 guys. So you'll be the 4th. But yeah. So I think there are more than enough people to do the work, really. And if the university makes it terribly difficult to make E-class, then every single course is going to complain, and they probably don't want to do that. So probably we'll be able to solve the problems we have, and the only one that I know of is I don't know how to add TAs, but we'll figure it out in the next short while.
Do you think the TAs should also introduce themselves?
Yes.
Definitely. I'll start. So, hi, I'm Isla. I'm a
Do you want the camera? Sorry.
yeah, I can. I don't know if it's gonna be really zoomed in on me. Or do you want me to go there? I don't know if that would make it easier.
Sure, you can go to the front.
Yeah, sure. I'll come to the front. Oh, that's gonna be hard. I'll come this side. Okay. I'll come this way. I'll come stand with Dr. Solez and be cool. Hi. So I'm Isla. I'm one of the TAs. I just finished my bachelor in education, And I'm actually going back to school. I'm doing my open studies right now, but then I'm going to do some psych courses and then hopefully master in psychology. But I took this course a few years ago, but honestly, the course itself is just like, it's really fun. It's really like, and Dr. Solez makes it amazing. Like he always has like the craziest people come in and like the funnest, like I've seen all kind of different like speakers come in. I had one who had like an argument with Dr. Solez the entire time, and it was like a fun little banter back and forth, and like none of the students could talk. Like all the students just had to sit and we're just like going back and forth because this one's arguing, and it was like so intense, but it was so fun to watch. So I really hope he comes back again because that was great.
Yeah, I did ask him,
Yeah, I know you
and I
did.
pointed out that the way we've scheduled things, he'd have the last word. Okay, I finally get to talk. That is what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's me.
Daniel, do you want to go ahead?
Okay.
I don't want to like trip over anything. Okay. Hey guys, my name is Daniel. Sorry I was late. I actually took this class very recently. So I'm one of the newest TAs along with Hish. And I took this class for many similar reasons to all of you guys. I think the biggest thing I took out of this class is that even though the class is the future of technology and medicine, AI does really apply everywhere. So one of my interests last semester was dentistry as well. So you'll find that it applies really well into that area. And I think this class was great for me personally because I'm a big talker. I love yapping, and when I came into this class, I saw that's a lot of what it was, and so I love the conversation piece to it. And so I think when we started last semester, we started off a little bit quieter, but then a lot of people like grew out of their shells really quickly.
Right.
So we'll notice that in this class hopefully as well. And I guess we're just gonna try to make sure that happens. But I'm sure like all of you guys will like see how quickly you can get like involved in everything we're talking about, even if it's like outside of the scope of what you're used to learning about. So
Yeah.
that's it for me.
Absolutely. So, you know, there's another interesting question, like when I'm not here, what should we do? So I think Jack Tazinski thinks that all his lectures are face-to-face, but I know that I'm actually out of the country during a lot of those. So the question is whether he's going to do them by Zoom or whether he's going to come here and maybe we won't record them. Because why do we have to have every single one recorded? It's a pain to have to think about that and so on. And they're really excellent. I mean, the most highly rated videos we have are his from the past. So you can find videos of his with like 7,000, 8,000 views, and they're on sort of the same stuff that he's talking about now. So there's a lot more flex or possible different ways we could do the current lectures schedule than you might realize. And one of them is that I think on the 16th, the person teaching that day said, I can't actually teach, I'm too busy, but here's a video. So we have a video of him, and you could experience that anywhere. So I think you probably don't have to come here on the 16th. You can watch that video, you're responsible for it, and so on. So there'll be other things like that, but you could probably actually influence those decisions. Like, it may turn out that for you, you'd rather do those sessions by Zoom. It not only means that the teacher can be wherever he wants to be in the world, but so can you, so anyway, we'll leave some of those things open. And yeah, but anyway, I'm the next speaker on Thursday, and then Shauna a week from today. And just remember that although she's on the program 4 times, the only time we know for sure she's coming is next Tuesday. So you should try to soak up her, celebrity astronaut vibes and so on. Yeah. So.
That was my favorite lecture from last semester. So
Yeah. And she has more personal interaction, like the midterm. If you finish the rest of it, the time to spend, the part of it to spend time on is her section, because she's going to give you personal feedback on that. So yeah, and that's kind of cool to have a person with such a, I don't know if you're into social media, but if you are, you'll find her posts just, amazing what she's up to and the meetings that she goes to and the talks that she gives. So it's kind of fun for you to imagine living a life like that, but she's sort of similar to you in age, and she began this course, she was second year medical student when the course began. So, she's sort of done her whole progression within the course. Okay, well, I think that's it for today, and I'll see
Cheating
you.
an intro.
Hello everyone.
I'm just gonna get going because I have somewhere I need to go to. But thank you.
Sure, sorry.
Hello everyone. I'm Hannah. I'm one of the few TAs for the course. I've been here since 2021, I'd say. So during peak COVID times when we did the course, it was all online. But yeah, it's a really fun course. I'm very privileged to be a part of it. Dr. Solez has given us the ability to go to many places.
Yes, so they went to Paris most recently, and yeah.
That was in September, and then Isla and myself both went to Le Mans, France in 2023. So that was really cool. We went for a month and we did research in nephrology, and that was our first time ever seeing a dialysis machine, being in education. So it was very cool, but hopefully that's something that you all get to experience at some point, if you get invested in the course. So yeah, that's the hope of it, and super excited to have it all.
And we're not limited by what this course has done in the past. If you have an idea about something brand new that has never been tried before, we could try it. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you very much, and see you on Thursday.
Thank you guys.